All right. Hello. Welcome. It looks like we are live. Hi guys. Hi traders. Anna here. And welcome to the live stream. It is Tuesday. No, it's not Tuesday. It's Thursday, 8/21, 2025, 2:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And this session is going to be about you're really going to enjoy this session a lot. I had scalped earlier today and it was a very unique situation. So maybe I'm sure you can resonate with it. Trading large size, or if you're down to your last few dollars before your max loss, your survival depends on how your tools agree or if they don't. So in this session, I'll break down on NAS the 15-second, the 1 minute, and the 5 minute charts using pivot levels, the 800 EMA, and my Exodus cross. The pivot levels will map out structure and zones. The 800 EMA are for your entries off, and they also give you a really nice movement when you have that. And then for the Exodus cross, giving you precision entries. But traders, the goal is, and it's really important because as I was going through my session, I was offsetting, entering off of the 800, doing the Exodus cross. And for my situation, I had a challenge account or a combine account that I'm working on. I had $200 left in the account before I hit my max loss. So I wanted to hit the entries perfect so I could go ahead and get 5 points, give me $100 at $20 per contract, and then build up from there. But even with waiting for the market to get to that level, it may not go right into profit. It may not go into profit. So I had to be really precise because I only had like $250 left, and then doing such large size, it matters. And for those of you that know what I'm talking about, that that's a very tight entry, a very precise, it needs to be hit right. So I was going off of the 15-second time frame, looking at the pivot levels, my Exodus cross, and the 800 EMA. So it's going to be a great session where you get to learn how these all work together or if they don't. So that's my goal for this session. Also, it helps me out if you subscribe to my channel and share this with a friend who needs to sharpen their entries before their account's gone. So I think you'll really learn a lot from it. Okay. Let's see. What else are we going to do? Oh, I know. I need to make sure everything's running well. Okay. Let's see. You don't hear me. So I got my glasses on. These darn things. You know what? I don't hear me. Testing, 1, 2, and 2. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, good. Okay. Let's see what else. Before we get into the session, well, actually, I'll just go ahead and we'll just jump right into it. So just a second. I'm going to share my screen. I'm trying to see where here it is. Share. Okay, let's go ahead and put this over here. I'm going to close that. Okay, and let's put this here. Put that right here, actually. Okay. One other thing I want to do is, let's use that one instead. Okay. Let me get my little outline because you know how people can get scattered. It's not always a good thing. Mm. Okay. All right. So right in front of you, you see my trading view chart, and this is at New York Open. So it's at 10 o'clock here. I am on the um, replay. Okay, I'm on the replay. So let's break this down really easily. Let me make sure I'm in a little bit of a organized fashion here. All right. So what we'll do is we will step back and look at the 5 minute chart, and I'll show you. I kind of was going to do it different, but I'll follow this little outline here. So let's go to the 5 minute chart. And let me see. I can put some of these aside. You don't need to be seeing all that. Let's see how this is coming across. Okay. Now, these zones that I have here on my chart are support and resistance levels for certain time frames. So this was at 9:30. Oh, let's go back to 9:30. Let's go back to New York Open. See if this is today, Wednesday. Today's Thursday. Hmm. Okay, here we go. New York Open. Let's go ahead and do the replay tool. And we're going to go back to 9. We'll go back to 9:20. 9:20. Okay. Now, um, these are going back to the 5 minute time frame. I'm going to show you the pivot levels and then show you how the pivot levels give you the roadmap for the structure, and then highlight where the EMA sits versus the pivot levels. Okay. So these here are your pivot levels, and pivot levels basically mean is where the strong area of support and resistance is on that time frame. They can be seen on any time frame. It is an indicator that they have on TradingView that you can get. So I'll show you that in a minute. I just have some things that I want to. I always think I'm ready for this session, and then I find things that we're in the middle of doing it that I'm not ready. Okay, just a second. I tell you what. Think you have everything ready, and then you find out that you don't. Oh, that's not the one I want. What the heck? Okay, here is the pivotal zones. Okay, and it is by the gentleman, this gentleman, him. Okay, that's it. So it's by him, this guy, and it's pivotal zones. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. Now, so anyway, so pivotal zones are that I'm also watching Bitcoin, so I'll be doing 2 things at once. That's what us traders do. All right. Now let's get excited about the session. Okay. The goal was we have a little bit of money left in our account before we hit our max loss per trade. So we want killer precise entries, especially if we're going to use a large lot because we want to bring up our account fast. You don't have to do it that way. That's what I wanted to do today. So I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. So here are the pivotal levels. Now at this time at 9 o'clock, price is down at the bottom. And then normally when price is at the bottom, that's normally when you would then go ahead and buy up. So how I use that, and then this area here is marked out on strong areas of support and resistance. Now I was using my top step combine, so I had this chart up and what else? I had that chart up and this one. So they don't have pivotal zones on Top Step, but price was only maybe, I don't remember how much it off, maybe 55 points off. So basically, I knew it was in the similar zone. All right. So this area here was a strong area of support and resistance that I know price would come back to retest, to say hello to. Hey, girl, check you out. Want to go check her out. And then this is another support and resistance level on my higher time frame, or my lower time frame. Actually, I think it's my 15-second. Yeah, it is. This is my 15-second level where there's a lot of congestion here. Like if you're driving, there's a bunch of traffic all right there. So I wanted to identify these zones because I was using such large size. I wanted to make sure that I in or out or entering or what have you at those locations or just become aware of them. So that is the pivotal levels, the pivotal zones on the 5 minute, and wanted to show you about that. Um, and then how they provide the roadmap for structure. Well, I did do that. I told you about, the zones here where there was a lot there, but when you're at the bottom, how the pivotal zones work is understood is, and it's us, these pivotal zones that we use, some traders use, they're outside of the normal pivotal zone makeup algorithm. Usually it's just 3 zones. This one is many. It's from your -3 all the way to your +3. And another way to look at it too, traders, is it's really just your high and low areas where the market was at. So let me go ahead and um, okay, Bitcoin's buying. Um, Let me go ahead and show you what I'm referring to. Boy, I tell you, thank you for being so patient with me because I get in my flow and then I have to stop because I don't have um, the chart the way I want it. Very frustrating. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. See how now I turned them on. I turned on this again. These are all through Trading View, the indicator. And then you might want to know, well, what indicator is that? So let's click on it. It's this one. Oh, that's not it. I clicked the wrong one. Here it is. It's HHLHL. I like it a lot. There's a bunch you can pick from, but this is the one that I use. I like it a lot because it clearly identifies, and some of them don't always show inside the higher lows or the lower lows, but this one does. And this one is by Future Billionaire. Okay. HHLL. So the pivotal levels traders are really your market structure. the major zones, the lower low, the S2 is right at the lower low. So they all come into play. When I first learned how to trade from my mentor, she had these zones, okay? And we didn't really do too much market structure. We learned off of the pivotal zones. So as I grew in my journey with trading, I learned like, hey, well, this is the same zone as the lower low and the higher highs. And then also they coordinate with your fib and your channels. I mean, all just with market structure, really, and your EMAs. They all come together and put the whole puzzle together for you. So, okay, that's that. Now, let me look at my little roadmap here. All right. Then, let's look at the 800 EMA because these are the three things that I use today for my judgment. Now, on the 5 minute, I was not using the 5 minute for this quick execution. I was using it to see market structure. I was working off of the 15-second and the 1 minute. So I'll show you how that all comes into play, but I'm just backtracking for you and giving you the structure. So here's our 800 way up here. It's not influencing my decisions because it's not what's going on right now at the market structure. Okay. That is 200 some points away. Okay, I'm not worried about that 800 EMA on the 5 minute. So now let's go to take a closer look and go on the 1 minute chart, which is the execution level. It's not my trigger level, it's my execution level. Okay. So I'm going to show you how the pivot reactions on these lower time frames. I'm also going to show you how the entries off of the 800 EMA does give you long moves. And so it gives you a really nice long move. It is before my trigger that I use, the Exodus Cross, but I'm now wanting to incorporate the 800, and I also want to see when it's good and when it's not. And that, as well as with this session, is when is it good and when is it not. So I'm actually just doing some back testing with you, and then going through how I traded my account today. All right. So now we are on. So now let's go to the 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to put these over. I want to put these over here because they are in the way. Now these things, I don't know how you guys are with your charts, but I talk a lot on my charts. I leave a lot of notes on here. And I also am a type of person where I like to know the history of things. So, when I trade traders, and you should do the same thing too, because especially with this type of situation, if you're scalping and you're holding your trades, maybe two pivot levels, like say you're just going from R5 to R6, you'll want to know. I have here, you'll see on 219, 10 points on the 1 minute between each pivot level. And then on 3/4, 2025 for NAS, it was 20 points between each level. Why do I care about that? Well, when I'm scalping, I want to know very quickly how many points are between each of these levels, because if I'm holding a pullback, I want to know how much am I going to be eating till it gets to my destination. Because let's say I didn't get an ideal entry. I got it late, I stuttered or whatever, or the market just didn't take off. If I know it's a 20 points between each pivot level and I'm doing a $20 size contract, one contract, let's say with Top Step, that's $400 of drawdown that I could be experiencing. So that's why that's very useful. Okay. Uh, I hope I explained that correctly, because I'm thinking I didn't, let me make sure I did that correctly. So again, here from here is 10 points. So it's 10 points today. And let's say you didn't get in great, but you wanted to take it up. Let's say you want to take this up to the R5. You want to go 2 pivot levels. So you're like, okay, I want to go 20 points times one contract on NQ. That is going to be 20 times 20, which is $400. So to get up here, it'd be $400. But if it doesn't commit quickly, that's why I use the lower time frames. I could potentially, if she pulls back, I'm not paying attention. Not only if you're not paying attention, but when you're scalping, and for me, I'm doing a few accounts. I'm just not doing one account at the same time. I'm doing a few different accounts at the same time. So I'm like not just on one thing. So and even if you're not, I find that when I'm scalping, the movement doesn't look that much. Like, oh, that doesn't look like that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, that thing was 30 points. What the heck? Like, if I didn't get in, I'm like, okay, I just sat there and watched a 30-point move in less than a minute, and I just sat there. So I don't know if you can agree with me. I'm sure you can relate to that. So that's why I like to have this information written on my chart so I can know quickly what it is. Now, I have old dates here because I like to see the history of things and see how the market changed. And then you might want to know, well, why would 1 month or 1 week it be 10 points and the next week it be 20 points between each level? That's because there's been more momentum at that time in the market. So if you have a big move like we've had yesterday and today with NAS and with the market, these pivot levels can range a little bit larger than normal. But the average norm for NAS between these is about 10 to 20 points. So with all that being said, going back to the 1 minute, um, I'm looking here. I see that if I were right now at 9 o'clock, it's at the S3. Okay. So that information is helpful to me. I lost my train of thought here, so you have to mind me for a minute. Let's see here. Okay. So here on the 1 minute, here's our 800 EMA, and price is far away from it. Now, I would measure how far away, because I know if I get in at the 800, that's 56 points. If I get in at the 800, I am going to have a beautiful drop. Going to have a beautiful drop. It's going to be a great entry. It's even better than my Exodus cross, but there's pros and cons to each concept. So you really have to understand what the tool you're using, what it does, when it comes into play, and when you can use it, and how it compares to something that you're always using as well. How does it complement it and how does it not? So, what was going to, so here's the 800 right here, EMA. I use EMA. And we're also at the +2 on the pivot levels. So when I know with the pivot levels, if it's up here, then it's probably going to start selling. Probably going to start selling down. So I should start looking for sells. And I know if I get in off of the 800, I can have a really nice drop. Really nice drop. And let me show you proof. Here's the 800 EMA we're selling. So let me make it red. Here's the 800 EMA right here. And then if you got in off of this entry and you held, now you wouldn't really necessarily be able to hold. Well, you could if you got in right there. But from this 1 minute, look how nice that entry was. Someone might say, well, you're just getting off of the lower high. Well, that's correct. I'm showing you that all of your tools that you use, how they all play in together. Maybe some people don't use the lower highs. They just use support and resistance, which would be right here. They'd see that this is a zone. And then people who use the pivot levels, they know that it's at the top and it should start selling. Okay. But what I want to show you is that if you do get in off of the 800, it's a very nice ride down. Now, okay, so that's that. Now let's go look at the 15-minute. Gonna make sure, kind of setting a preface for you, like painting on a canvas before we get to the nits and cranny of in order to build up for this purpose of this stream. All right. Now, here is at 9:20. Now look at my 800. My 800 is much closer to price. And I like that because when I see that, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, I could, for my killer entry that I need, because I only had like 200 some dollars I had to um use that I could use without getting out, without me blowing it, not blowing it, but hitting the max loss. So, um, I said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wait for it to come up to the 800. And if she sells down, I'll take the sell. I know I have a great entry. Or if she buys up, then fine. But either way, my decision maker is here, this 800 EMA. I know how well my Exodus cross works too. But since I'm on the 15-second, I haven't really looked at, well, I have looked at it, but it's been a while. The power of my Exodus cross. I know it fires great, but I also know that this 800 is a nice killer too. So today I was pretty much focusing on the 800. My Exodus cross, the 15-second, I know it will fire, but at times, like for instance here, it fired, but it kind of just didn't move anywhere. It moved down a little bit. I mean, this is like 20 points, so that's a lot. But it didn't do something like this. Didn't do something like this is which I wanted. So I revert to the 800 where I know I'm at the very top or the very bottom. And I know if I hold it, I'll be in a nice trade. Okay. So that's the preface there. Um, all right. So let's go through this and see how this would have played out. And you can kind of see, I'll show you my train of thought. So we're here at 922 and we aren't near the 800 and the Exodus cross, my Exodus cross, um, it has fired, and we'll go from there. And I'm also going to be learning for myself because I'm doing this back testing with you guys because I want to compare the Exodus cross to the 800 to the pivot levels. Okay. So I might want to take a piece of paper out too, and then you can do this with me as well. Let me pause that real quick. Okay. So we got the fire, the signal. Try to make enough room on my desk. Okay, so we got the fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Exodus cross and I'm going to put, these are going to be the number of tries or fires or alerts. I don't know how you want to call it. And then we're going to do the 800. I'm going to write the 800 EMA. And then on my piece of paper, I'm going to write the pivot levels. And then this is going to be my 15-second time frame. All right, so these are the three things, my three tools that I use, and I want to see how they work together and how they don't. Where they align and where they do not. Okay. Just a second. Oh, wouldn't that be awful? Last week or yesterday, I wasn't sharing my screen for like 20 minutes. Okay. So here, let me show you how with the Exodus cross, okay, how they refine my entries when the pivots and this align. So we got a fire here. We got at the R6. This area on the R6 is considered a very strong support level. So it makes sense that it would break out nicely here. Um, So this is running well. So we have here, and we should anticipate to be able to get up into this zone. Okay. So it fired. Let's see if it gets up to that zone, and then let's compare it to our 800 EMA because that's what I'm all three things looking at. So I'm going to hit play, and let's look at the strength of the candles. Okay, we're looking for her to get up to this zone, and she did. Okay, boom. So she went right to where I anticipated her to go from my signal. So that was a check mark. Okay. And then what we can do too in your column, you can put number of points that is. Okay, number of points it went. Now what I'm saying to myself, oh, and then we're at the R8. Oh, wait, no, we weren't. It went to the R8. I'll put stop. Went to the R8. Okay. Um, I'll put TP zone. That way we can make it more specific. All right. So for this Exodus cross, I'm showing you how it did execute and did go to the zone where I anticipated it to go. So that is considered a good alert signal. Okay. Now notice too the relationship with the pivot levels. It's at the +1. And when it's up in this zone, price is anticipated for it to sell back down. It could keep buying up, of course, but we're just going to go with how you use these levels. So we start selling. All right. I'm looking at my 800 EMA. I know, like, oh, I'm pretty far away, but it's coming up. I know this is really killer too. So let's go ahead and press play. Remember, we're on the 15-second. We're using NAS. All right. So this is at what time? 9:23. So we're not quite yet at New York Open. And I don't have a signal yet telling me to take that sell. Now, that's what I like about my Exodus cross traders is that would have been like, oh, I should probably take that. It's at the R8. Nice strong candles, engulfing candle, breaking structure, right? You have all of this good information as well as your momentum indicators. They actually were not telling you to sell that. The ones that I use for immediate scalping, they weren't telling you to sell yet. They're actually telling you to buy. But if you didn't have those up, then you would have been like, oh, by what we just saw, that would have been a good entry for the sell. But I didn't get the signal, so I'm not in that. And which is good because if you were in that sell right here at this location, it pulled against you hard. And then remember, traders, I only had $250 that I could spare. I only had $250, so my entries had to be super killer. And I knew I could get a lot of momentum off of at New York Open or around that time too. So with this, if we had taken a sell, that's 13 points that pulled against me. And me doing $20 one contract 20 time what did I say it was? Hold on. It was, oh, wait, what was it? Okay, 14 points. So 14 times $20 for one contract, that's a 280 point pullback. So that was I'm really glad that I hadn't gotten into that because I didn't get my signal. I can see people would have taken it for those reasons I just explained. All right. Now we're going to hit and press play. Now I am paying attention now to my 800 at this point. I'm like, oh, the 800 is right there. I could just wait because I'm saying to myself, let's just wait till we get to the 800 and then take it down. Okay, let's just wait for the 800 to then take it down. It'll get there sooner than before my Exodus cross sets up. Okay, it'll get there sooner before my Exodus cross sets up. Now we're at 928. Okay. I'm right there. Some people would be very tempted to run the trade. I've done that too. Run the trade right up to the 800 because we know it will go there. So you'll have some, oh my goodness. And then that must have been New York Open right there. Yep. New York Opens right there. Now that would have been tricky. Okay. If you were in that buy and you didn't make that quick exit, or if you maybe you had your stop loss here, you really would have gotten hit with that hard. And that would have at $280 of my account would have been gone. That's a 43-point drop. But what I want to bring to your attention is, and it kind of can be skewed because it is right at New York Open, but see the reaction off of the 800. So what I'm saying to myself now is like, dang, I didn't know which way it was going to go. I needed to be very, very careful with my whatever trade I took. And I'm like, dang, now I'm really far away from the 800 for a reentry. Unless now I'm saying, okay, I want you to come back up. Maybe she's going to reverse back up because it is New York Open. And then I can have another chance to see what she does. Or I can wait on my Exodus cross to fire. It is right at New York Open. So you guys know how Naz does. She'll jump down, whip right back up, and then continue up and then do a hard reversal and come back down. Those are your liquidity sweeps. And that's what's going on there. And with what I was trying to accomplish, I cannot handle all of that. Some traders can, and you might say, well, how could you do that, Anna? How could you get in that? Let's say you were in for the sell. Let's say you saw that you're like, okay, it's going to sell. Okay. And you could do that. I would say not on some of the platforms that I use or some people may have, but if you did 10 cents, a micro size, um, times a 40-point move, that would be what, $4? Let me see. 40 times 0.10 cents. Yeah, it's $4. So you'd be like, oh, that's okay. You could maybe like, I have $100 in my account. If it goes $40, 40 points against me, that's okay. It's only $4. Now for me or someone else that had larger size, 20 per point times 40 points, that's for $800. $800, no way. I can't do all that. Okay. So let's see what happens here. Now we're with the pivot levels. Now we're bringing in the pivot levels. We are at the bottom. So since we're at the bottom, we expect the probabilities of the reversal under normal circumstances. Under normal circumstances, should be the buy back up. I don't know why my tools aren't working. Should be the buy back up. Okay, we want her, since she's down here at this location, we would anticipate her to buy back up with using the pivotal levels. Okay, get that out of there so it's not so big. Now let's see what happened. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now you're like, now I think this is what happened to me. I was, yep. I believe this is where I ended, or maybe I'm not sure which one, if it was this one or the next one, but I did get, I think, no, it was this one. I did get this move, not all of it, because I only wanted a little bit. So I grabbed like 100 and some bucks. And because it's right at New York Open, and I wasn't sure which way she was going to go, if she was going to hit me with this big rebound back up. I did not get this immediate one. I think I got in right here. and then did not want to get hit with this. So I just grabbed a little bit of money and then got out. Glad I got out because that complete reversal. Now we are down at the bottom. So for people who weren't taking it down, then looking for the reversal, maybe they were like, I was waiting for it to come to this zone that you have identified. I wanted it to come down here. As soon as it came down here, I anticipated it should, the probabilities of it turning around back up are really good in my favor. So boom, she took off and I was on it. That would have been very good. You have been very super grateful and happy. And that one bar is like 32 points. Look at that. 33 points, this one bar right here. 25 and then an immediate reversal. Because remember, we're on the 15-second. Okay. So I'm thinking, oh, great. I can get back up here to the 800 where I know it'll have a nice move. So let's go ahead and press play. Okay, and so here I'm not messing with any of this. I'm not messing with it with it's 2 minutes into the open. Now what I want to do is I want to see what my 1 minute looks like at this point. I would have all 3 screens on here. I don't think it'll let me do that with I don't think it'll let me do that with um in replay mode. Yeah, it doesn't. So I can do it with one screen. So let's go here. Okay. Um, this is what it's looking like on my 1 minute. I'm like, okay. I also have my 5 minute up and my 2 minute. So we can't split it up, but we'll go and see what the 2 minute looks like at this point. Okay, the 2 minute looks better, more clarity for us to see what happens. Off of the 2 minute, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna wait till it gets up into here, or I might take it to here. But I'm not trading the 2 minute off of what my situation was. Okay, so going back to the 15-second, I'm like, okay, I want it to come back up to the 800, and I know I can get a really good entry off of that. Okay, so let's see what happens. See if my Exodus cross fires too. I was more leaning and being dependent upon this 800 than my Exodus cross because my Exodus cross, I wasn't sure how great I could get it on this time frame. I needed because it's so precise that um and it being a 15-second, it and that with it being so erratic, it's not always the best what I would want to do based on my situation. So let's pause that. So as I was saying that, we did get the cross, but it didn't go to up to this location where I would anticipate it to go. So that's a complete example of what I'm talking about, where the Exodus cross did not end up benefiting me than how I would want it, but where the 800 EMA did benefit me. Okay. I didn't want to mess with any of this. My Exodus cross did fire, but it didn't go nowhere. And before I knew it wouldn't go anywhere, I wasn't sure of its dependability based on my situation that I needed to. But I did know that this 800 is a really better play for me to do that one. So ignoring my Exodus cross and using the play off of the 800 is way better. Now look at that. We had got I don't think I got that. But if you had grabbed that, that right there was 38 points to you in less than a minute. 38 points to you. Let's see how many. That was 1 minute and 15 seconds. Okay. So this 800 for me and my situation was way better. If I had grabbed that, I don't think I got that, to be honest with you. I would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, I'm done, and brought up my account the way I needed it to. So that was 38 points times $20. That would have been a $760 trade right there. Okay. So you can see the value of why your precise entries are so important and how these different tools that I use when they work really well for you and when they might not be something that you might want to use something else, you know? So, that was a really nice play right off of the 800. Your stop loss, and also notice too, this 800 is at the higher high. I mean, that makes sense. It all follows your market structure. Let's go to the 5 minute and you can see exactly at this time what's going on. On the 5 minute, I'd have my 5 minute chart up and I'd be like, oh, you know what? She probably is going to buy up to here. She's probably gonna buy up to here, but in the meantime, to get there, she probably could pull back down into this S2. I can't eat all of that off of the contract size and my goal and how I was playing it. That's 30 points for me to hold that back. But if I was doing MNQ and one contract, that would be $2. $2 of a pullback per point, and that would be 32. That might be a little hefty too. So 32 times $2, which is one contract for MQ, that would have been a 64-point pullback. I'm getting into a lot more concepts than I plan to, but they do all fall into line with one another. Um, some people will hold this pullback. For me, I'm like, why in the world would you hold on to a 64-point pullback when you can just get back in when it gets to that location? But everyone has their own way of doing things. All right, so that's what it looks like on the 5, and as soon as I see the 5 minute, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, if I was in on this trade, I wanted to hold the pullback, and I very well her going up to here is very profitable." But you never know what will happen in between then at New York Open. So, let's go back to the 15-second. Right now, we had that awesome entry. Okay. Now let's see what's going on. We're a little bit further. We did have news today. I think it was at 9:45. So we did have news today. We had at 9:45 and at 10. So we'll play. And I want to be sure I'm putting this information into my head because I'm explaining it to you, but I want to make sure I'm recording my back testing data. So let me pause real quick and make sure I'm getting the information that I want to get. I'm not oh, I'm not quite yet sold on contacts yet, you guys, but oh boy, the more and more I am. Try this again. Goodness gracious. Okay. Now she's returned to the 800. So I'm like, oh, score. She's returned to the 800. But the problem is now is there's news getting ready to come up. I don't know if I was still in a good had that $100 or if I had tried to do it again and it didn't pan out. There's one point where I was so close. I'm like, ugh. And then I just didn't get the entry right and ended up hitting the max loss. But that's fine because I did it very strategically. It's just the market didn't play out well. So here is a now here's you could say, okay, I'm in on this. It hit the 800 and boom, one candle. Let's see if it commits. It's at 9:36 and let's see if it continues down. Okay. Nope. See, now that there would have been messed me up and I would have been out. That's what's sort of like one of the things that had happened. Pause that. That's one of the things that happened. So you were like, okay, normal. Now often it's why you got to check the times. Why you got to have a sample size of how many times it does work or it doesn't. Um 800. So I always don't know how to write these things on a piece of paper. So it'd be like the number of times hit So we'll do 1, the result sold. Nice. Then the second time it happened, we thought it was gonna sell, but it didn't. So that didn't work. So now we're 1 of 1. One time it did, one time it didn't. But for me, if that was me, that would have messed me up. That would have kicked me out. I would have lost that account. So press play. Now I'm thinking, okay, well, great. I can go ahead if she see what she does, then I'll buy up and play off the 800 and use it as my floor. Okay. So maybe you're in off of that. You're like, okay, and then I know, oh, good. I should get more continuation. I'm off of my 800. I had this. Okay. Now you're at a point. Now I'm at a point with just doing my other account, getting what I needed. Here I'm like, okay, let's see if the 800 holds. Let's see if this 800 holds, because remember what I said in the very beginning was that you get your entries off your 800, you're going to have a nice long run. But the situation counts. And this is right here at New York Open, right before news. It's 9:40. Right now, forget it. I'm not really doing too much because I'm waiting for that news to come out. Just don't know which way she'll go. So let's go ahead and play it and see what happens. Okay, so we got the sell. We should be able to come back down into this zone. Should be able to come back down into this zone. We also could take it right off of the 800 with our 800 concept. So we're going to pause that. We're going to say the 800 showed up again for the sell. Let's see if it didn't really escalate down, did it? It came back up. So that was no good. We also had the Exodus cross. We had another Exodus cross, but it doesn't right now look like it's going to go where it's supposed to go. Now here's a re-entry off of the 800. Someone might have said, well, I waited here, got it on here. Okay, now it's right where the news is. So that will make a big impact. Okay, so notice that with that Exodus buy, it did not take off. It did not take off. I have to find a better way to do this because running out of room. Now here's it off of the 800. Another opportunity. 4 opportunities for the sell. And we also got the Exodus cross. Okay, so let's see if this ends up running correctly. What time is it? It is right at news, though, so that could make that obviously is going to make a big difference. Okay, it did go to where we wanted it to go, and look at that long run off of the 800. It is skewed because it was news, but even so, when you're in this predicament, like I'll say for myself, okay, well, with my Exodus cross fired and my right off the 800, nice area location of the pivot levels, and it did run to the zone that I would anticipate it to go to. Okay, so that was another nice one. Some accounts we can't run it. We can't run news. We can't trade news. That was a 63-point move. Let's see what that looked like on the 1 minute. I can hear some of you guys being like, "Well, what did that look like on the 1 minute?" Let's see what it looks like on the 1 minute. Also, I want to check on what Bitcoin's doing real quick. Just a second. This thing is going to 112. I know it. Oh, look. Yep. I knew that sucker was going to 112. I knew it. 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 Just a moment, traders. I want to look at my account. I'll tell you, there's so much information everywhere. It's crazy. Okay. Let's see here. Just a second. I'm going to look at Bitcoin. Oh, what's this? Oh, maybe I was waiting for the re-entry. Oh boy, I just want things to hurry up and go. All right, it's thinking about it. I have put a lot of strain on my computer with the live stream going, and then pulling up these charts eat up a lot of bandwidth too. I knew it was going to 112. Do you guys also ever run into the problem like you don't have enough room on your desk for your trading information? Goodness. Oh yeah. She's going to 111 to be honest. She's doing a 100% retracement. Let me pull that up here. I'm trying to get there and it won't let me. Oh, overwhelming my computer. That's like sometimes with trading. Is we're so scattered. Like time is of everything. We all care about the time. Whereas when you're not in a job where time is such an important factor, even when I have to walk my dogs, I'm like, I can't walk them right now. You know, because walk my dogs, that's like 10, 15 minutes. Well, I say 10 minutes, not 15 minutes. All right. We are in the middle of reviewing this, but I do need to look at this Bitcoin. What's going on? I don't know why. Okay, here we go. 4 hour. Okay, just a second. Look at my accounts. I can't even get in this one account. I don't even want to look at this one actually. Be sure to follow me on my channel as well as me going live because I do Bitcoin analysis and scalping with it. So if you want to see that, Control C. Let me go in here. It closed me out. So sorry about that. Okay, so that's an old note. Oh my goodness. Okay. I hope I'm not in anywhere else. Let me show you Bitcoin real quick. I'm looking at. Make sure I can make sure it shows you. Okay. So I tell you what, when you go live, you go live. When you go live, you go live. All right. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. Look at that. She's doing a 100% retracement. See that? She's right here, and she's going to go back and hit this zone again. That is 111, actually. So she's at 112. So 1,000 more points. You know, it would be really bad if she reversed right here and didn't get into here. That's why I can see some people just getting in now. They'll take that pullback just to be sure they're in the trade, or they'll do limit orders, what have you, to make sure they get that killer buy back up. But she definitely is. I really think she's going to come right down to a 100% retracement. That's 1,000 points. And I'm trying to figure out why in the world I'm not in that. I feel like I'm in that in some account. Oh my gosh. It is almost time for the market to move really fast. So let's go ahead and look, I'm kind of changing up this session here. This is a live session, obviously. All right, we're going to use this concept. Let's get out of this replay mode. Just a second. I got to hurry up. Okay, now we're right off the 800 here. Okay. I don't like that. I can't see. Now the 800 is right here, but on my Top Step account, it's a lot further. Oh, there she goes. Okay, I'm in that. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong darn account. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that one. Because we're not going off of our 800. 800 right here, but it's not on my other one. Okay, I took that buy. with my Exodus cross and the time of the market because it's supposed to move really nicely here. My Exodus cross on the 1 minute for this top step account is trying to execute or it signaled out. I don't know what it is with, you know, like for me, when I'm scalping, I want that sucker to fire out of the gates, run out, especially when you don't know. Okay, I'm out of that because I'm not sure if it's going to go or not. And I don't want to have the patience to see if it is going to fire. I want to see more conviction. See, went the other way. Um, you'll see it going on over here. Now look, that 800 right here, but on mine, my 800 is not there. It's a lot lower. So I took it the sell. Should have been in a little bit sooner. It's right at the support level here. And it's touching the support level. So my anticipation is for it to get down further. Sell down to that 800. That 800 is the location of the 200 on the 1 minute. So that there, boom, is a nice trade. Okay, good job. That now it's at my 800 on the 15-second. So we can do that buy or sell off of there, but it's also on the 200 on the 1 minute. So here's that concept. Look at that with the sell. I don't think we got on right then to take it down, but my 800 is not there right now. Right now, I'm on my 800. I'm not taking the buy yet because she's selling. And it always figures I took the buy. Always figures that taking that buy off of that 800 and reversed, taking it off of that 800, wanting that 800 to perform and go higher. Okay, so she's going to come back down to this 800 and we'll see if like if I gotten out, then I get back in. Well, I'll just hold the pullback because I did a small size. And I'm going off of the momentum that at 350 Didn't really do a lot though, but I got the entry off of the 800 on the 15-second. So my 800 right now, traders, is I think it's right here. On the 1 minute, we are under the 21, so momentum is selling. So this is where it actually comes into live playing, where you want to be buying off of the 800 or do you want to be selling off of the 800 if you're not going to use your Exodus cross. And this darn thing doesn't let you go both ways. So I'm right at my 800 for it to reject off of the buy that I entered. I'm $20 down in drawdown. Let me put you over here so you can see my account. Let me put you in here. Oops. You see that I'm in drawdown. There's my 800. See how I said it was right there? And yep, she's not. Oh, you know what? See how that happens? And then buys right back up. So we're right off of the 800, which is our 100 on the 1 minute. And take sell right off of the 800. All right, let's look at the 1 minute selling, the 5 minute is selling. I really wanted more movement off of that. Now, if we were holding larger size, and this is where those pivot points come into play because we need to know how much it is back up to here. That's 4 points. Okay, it's not bad. So we're in off of the sell because at this point, and there's no freaking momentum. So we're now stuck in this jam. The 5 minute is whoops. The 5 minute is selling, and I really thought we'd get more momentum off of this. It's ridiculous. We're all at kinds of support levels. Let's see. Like right now, I want this trade to already perform. Oh, we're right at the P4. That's why it just likes to play around here. I like it for it to just take off. I guess this was the move at 350. That was about it. That was 25 points. I don't know how we missed that. Okay. Well, here's our 15-second. We took the sell off of the 15-second. Let's see how that's on here. It's looking well. Here, there's 15. Notice the 800's not. We took the sell. I took the sell off of the 800, and we'll see how it suffices. I didn't want to be in a that's just waiting. Then if we go to the levels, let's see where we're at um the S0. Okay, we're not at a great location for the oh wait, let's go to 1 minute. We're at the P4. It always likes to play around this stupid P4. This pivot level is a very strong area of support and resistance, so it's not a stupid level. I just call it a stupid level because it's not doing what I want it to do. But it is it's reacting the way it should. It is reacting the way it should off of that zone. Just have to wait for it to get down. This is like not good. All right, so I didn't want to have this session on an actual live session. I was showing you a concept which we're actually taking into play right now, but um for me, I just wanted to take off and it's not taking off the way I wanted it to. Oh, and then the market's closed. Is that close my order? Oh, am I stuck in it? Oh, that wouldn't be good. Hmm. I wonder if that means that oh, okay. Is the market open now? I don't know if it's open now or not. Let's check in here. Hold on, let's save this entry. This is where it's important where you count your points. So we're at 208 to 215. So 910. So that's 12 points right there. It doesn't look like that much. I mean, if you want to maximize your bars, you can, but then I don't like to do that too much because then I can't see everything in the to the other direction of me. Okay, so oh, this is the 5 minute. We need to go to the 1 minute. Yeah, we're on that 200, which is your 800. And we're just in consolidation. All right, I'm not going to mess with this. Let's go back to the concept that I was saying. I mean, we're basically on the concept that I'm saying, but what's taking into place here is that it's not moving. And to prove a point with a concept of a market not moving, I don't want to do that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move back over here to our replay and finish up what we were discussing. Now we have the buy. I thought that momentum would be better. All right. This here can, we're at the actual, oh, we're not the 800. We're not at the 800. We are at the my Exodus cross for it to fire. See if it would fire and go ahead and take off to the level that we want to, going up to this 800 concept. So let's see if that takes place. I'm sure it will. Looks like it's going to. Is that sucker? Oh, that little huzzy and all. That now see that this is good replay for me and you. Bought off of the 800. We were up in here. It wasn't doing anything. Remember, we were sitting through all that. And I'm like, oh, I just don't like it. I want that sucker to take off like it did here. So if we didn't have any of this here, me being at drawdown of 338, I don't like it. And we got in off of the 800 concept. Then there we go, boom and fly. We're at the high. That's really frustrating right there. See how it makes a difference if you don't have that momentum? Also, if you aren't patient, want to wait. But I believe we were in for the sell, selling off of it. Okay, let's go back to our pivot levels real quick and see where we're at. We're at the S3. And I think the market's closed though. That's frustrating. Let's see how much that ate up of my account. 33 and 11, $44. Not that bad. But with a nice clean entry right off of the 800, if you waited for it to clear here and then taken it, you would have been late, but you would have had more of a probability that the trade would have continued. Let's see how much that would have been. That would have been 7 points that you would have had to give up, but to ensure that it's going to have a continuation. It broke above here, then you're in, running it up 3 to 5 bars, and there you are. Okay, let's go back to mm, let's go back to the this account. Now we're at our 800 again. All right, traders, I kind of deviated from my goal of this session, and I hope you were able to get some information off of it. We did an actual live trade, and you could see how we were in here and it wasn't taking off. This was my 800 down here. That's the difference with the two prop firms. And it wasn't doing anything, and I was not going to take the chance of it going the other way. Already was at a large drawdown for the day and really wanted this to happen, and it didn't. So um, that was the concept there. All right. So what do we go over today? Well, we wanted to know trading large size or down to your last few dollars before your max loss gets hit. Your survival depends on how you use your tools agree or if they don't agree. And so we were using the 15-second and the 1 minute and the 5 minute to gauge how we were going to execute these entries for precision or not. Then I got into an actual trade that we took with the 10 of 4 momentum that was supposed to take off, didn't take off. And when it did take off, we weren't in it. Not quite sure why. And then we did have the concept of the 800 that we were going over for this session actually come into play. And it did not take off the way we wanted it to. And I was at a zone where I was at enough for my max loss for the day. So when it did perform, I didn't take it because I was already at my amount that I wanted to lose for the day. So that's something that you have to feel comfortable with. I am not comfortable with that. Yes, it took off later than I wanted to, and then too late for me in case it didn't go that way. I have to abide by my rules and stay at my account drawdown that I wanted for that account. So see you later. I hope you enjoyed this session. Bye, traders.